This need a little gambit magic.
If you want to keep that hand, stay away.
Gambit just trying to help.
I think someone needs to help out our favorite Martian. He is dying. Anyway, in issue 1 of the Green Arrow Secret Files and Origins comic from 2002, a recipe is included for Ollie's stupendous chili recipe, just like his mom used to make. It's a pretty iconic dish in that throughout the years, it appears every now and then, not just in his comics, but in other ones as well, and that's always a welcome sight. It really is good to know that through all the DC Universe reboots and Crisis events over the years, there is one singular constant. Ollie's chili is apparently very, very spicy, which we're going to try recreating today. Now, I've had decent chili before, be it from barbecue places or somewhere like Zippy's in Hawaii, but I wouldn't consider myself a chili connoisseur. But it's still kinda cold out, so I can't think of a better dish to try. Just like Gambit's gumbo, we're gonna stick as close as possible to the recipe, but with a few changes. The first being the ingredients listing lean sirloin chunks as the meat of choice, but the instructions mentioning ground beef. I ended up going with an 80-20 ground beef because it was on sale, and in this economy, I didn't feel like paying extra for a leaner type. We'll be draining the fat off the meat later, so I think that's fine. Additionally, I only have one generic type of chili powder. I don't even remember what kind of chili it is, but we're gonna be using it as one of our 3 chili powders. The other 2 are California and New Mexico powders, which I managed to get close enough to. Speaking of heat, I also don't have any Tabasco sauce at home, but I do have Cholula, so I'm just gonna use that. And as for the cheese, I picked up some extra sharp cheddar, but I also have some leftover shredded mozzarella from pizza night, so I'll be using that as well. And of course, some generic oyster crackers. The last major change I'll be making is instead of water, I'll be using some beef stock concentrate for that extra flavor. Right, to kick us off, begin preparing the vegetables. We need a cup of minced onion to go into the chili and some chopped onion to use as toppings, so portion those out appropriately. I was feeling a little lazy, so I ended up using a food processor to mince my onion and a knife for the rest. Also, it's optional, but the recipe also includes half a cup of chopped green peppers, so get that all diced up. We're also peeling our garlic. I have a garlic press, so that's all I had to do, but if you don't have one, do your best to mince it. Right, with the heat on medium-high, begin browning the ground beef in a pot, making sure to break it up into nice pieces. A mashing tool like the one I'm using makes it really easy to do. The recipe says to brown the ground beef together with the spices, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to add them that early, but I did season the beef with some salt at this point. Once the beef was no longer pink, I drained the fat using some paper towels. After that, we're adding in the minced onion and green peppers, stirring them and letting them soften. After about 5 minutes, we can add in our minced garlic. The recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of that, but I ended up adding way more. So it's at this point where I added in all the spices, the cumin, paprika, cayenne, dried basil, and chili powders. And of course, some black pepper. Mix everything in the pot well as it continues to cook for a minute or 2. Once it starts looking a little dry and starts sizzling, add in your water or beef stock and scrape any crusted bits off the bottom of the pot. Right after that, add in your canned tomatoes and tomato sauce. Mix everything well and bring it up to a low simmer. Now, I initially let it simmer covered for a while because the recipe didn't really specify which way to do it. I ended up removing the cover after a bit because that felt like the correct way to do it. I don't know about simmering for several hours. Mine ended up going for about 2. Be sure to stir it every 20 minutes or so, just to make sure nothing's burning on the bottom. And we're almost done. Add in your canned dark red kidney beans. The recipe specifies to partially drain them, which isn't really clear, so I ended up draining one can completely but leaving the other untouched. After that, add in a teaspoon of brown sugar, though now that I'm watching the footage, I think I ended up adding in a whole tablespoon, but that's not the end of the world. Stir everything well and then add in as much of your Tabasco as you want, or in my case, Cholula. Give it another small stir and we'll let it simmer for another 10 to 15 minutes before serving. I topped mine with a nice serving of cheddar and mozzarella cheese and some oyster crackers. But the real question we want answered is this: is it really that spicy? Let's give it a try. So, to be honest, it's not really that hot, but Batman's right though. It needs more crackers.